What's up, comic geeks, and welcome back at long last to our massive verse traversal. We are jumping right back in at probably our favorite place in the massive verse
I'd say
with
so.
Rogue Sun Volume 2. Now, if you didn't already watch our recap of Rogue Sun Volume 1, make sure you go and check that out. We'll have it linked. But
Yep.
that's going to give you all the context you need for this volume, which we're going to jump into now. Heads
Do
up,
it.
it's going to be full spoilers discussion.
Oh yeah.
So if you don't want any sort of spoilers about Rogue Sun, this one doesn't have a big twist to the extent that the first volume did, but it's still
It's a pretty big
not to the extent
twist.
of the first
That's fair.
volume.
It still has,
Is what I'm
it has
saying.
it has it
Yes,
has
yeah,
its twists
it has
in this.
it's got a nice little cliffhanger for us.
Yeah.
But we're going to jump right into it. So, Rogue Sun Volume 2 starts with a really creatively designed issue. In this issue, Rogue Sun is facing off against a new foe called Ornate, who is a time traveler whose time travel powers are really kind of limited to observation. And within the book, we are essentially doing it as a choose your own adventure. So
It's a
all the
wild
pages have these
comic book.
beautiful little numbers on the top and these little commands as Ornate is proposing these options to Rogue Sun, with kind of the running theme of you're going to choose one of my options because I know the future and these are the only options that you have. So naturally, as you're going through, you eventually come to a place where Rogue Sun, Dylan, if you recall, he's fucking fed up with this shit and gets in a time loop because he's not about to, I don't know, do what he's told.
Nah.
It's kind of like a main character trait for him. So you get into this time loop, and you, as the reader, do as well. Mileage may vary on how long it takes for you to break out of the time loop.
I want everybody to know that Katie struggled so much we had to delay when we started the recording the episode.
Well, I was being incredibly thorough. I was like, I must have missed something. I am not a natural born rules breaker, is what I will say. Like, if the book has set up a system in which you're getting choose your own adventure directed around the book, I'm not going to just turn the page because it's clearly not the right page to go to. So Jay figured it out almost immediately, and I reread the issue like 3 times so that I could 100% complete all of the branching pathways.
Oh, so
But
funny.
eventually, you, as the reader, I guess decide alongside Dylan that you're not going to deal with this shit. So you just simply turn the page as you would normally, and Dylan gets to break out of his time loop and beat the shit out of Ornate and bring him to I'm sorry, not Rosie. Bring him to
Dottie.
why am I totally blanking out? Dottie. I'm like, it's not Roxy, it's not Rosie. Dottie.
Going
He
for
brings
that
him to
old
Dottie.
woman name.
It's exactly.
You really
Even though
searched.
she's not even old. Or she doesn't look old.
I think she's intended to be. She's got the white, like the full white hair. So I think the intent is for her to be like decently old. I feel like she's old in that magical person way, where
old in a real witch way.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like she's not gonna look old in the face, but like they make other things look old. She kind of dresses old to give us that impression that she's been around.
But so he takes Ornate to Dottie so that she can stash him in a diamond, but he doesn't want her to do that because the one of the futures he was shown during time loops was him putting Ornate into a diamond, and then the diamond exploded and killed Dottie. So instead, they stash his little I don't know, incense thing. It's called the sensor of time. They just stash it out in a safe, and naturally it starts to smoke. But that issue has nothing to do with the rest of the volume.
Yeah, I do
So
feel the need
forget
to point
about
out
all of that.
that all of this did revolve also around him fighting a giant, crazy sea kaiju monster.
Yes, the Lord
squid
Viathan,
thing.
which is an
Yeah.
incredibly funny name. Absolutely love. But yeah, this issue completely irrelevant to the volume 2 plot.
Yes.
So, strike it from your mind. Also irrelevant to the volume 2 plot, apparently in the single issues Jay was reading, there are backup stories. But those are not important to Rogue Sun. So we're going to ignore those as well. If any of you were reading it as it was coming out, and you're like, why aren't you talking about the painting thing? Because I didn't read it, because I read a collected edition. But then we get into the actual hellbent of it all. This volume is hellbent. Oh my gosh. And I didn't even hit us with the creative team. I'm so sorry.
Oh my god,
I'm so out of practice.
Oh, the first issue actually has I think there's a co-writer for that.
Yes,
special issue.
Nick Cotton is a co-writer on that issue.
I'm guessing helped with
but across the rest of it,
of it all.
Probably. I choose to believe, I could look it up, but I shan't, that Nick Cotton is like a really well-regarded choose-your-own-adventure writer.
I hope so. That'd be fun.
I hope so too. And I'm going to live in that beautiful world for as long as I can. But the main writer on Rogue Sun, the owner of Rogue Sun, is Ryan Parrott. The artists on Rogue Sun, Chapter 7, so the single issue also had a different artist. That was Zay Carlos. Chapters 8 and 9, which are the two immediately after, are from Marco Renna, and then our artist from Volume 1, Abel, is back for the rest of the issues.
Yeah.
So we've got a whole lot going on. We also have two colorists in Natalia Marquis and Raul Angulo, who did, again, issue 7, but Becca Carey letters it across the entire run. And now we get into the meat and potatoes here. It's terror time again. Not all is well in the world of Rogue Sun, because our old friend Suave is out and about. Suave is the one who had like the mirror mask and the saber from the first volume. He was kind of like, I think like a pretty low level goon. Yeah, he was like a goon. Not a goon, but like, in his world of training, he was the one who was making fun of Rogue Sun the most. But he's on a mission. He is after some sort of artifact that he's got one of his henchmen back in the criminal game for, even though his henchman has just put his son into college. Don't take that man away from his nice life now. But he's not the only one getting to work, because
you can't take the hench out of the man.
And I would never dare try. But Suave and his henchmen aren't the only ones who are hard at work, because Dylan is being put through superhero boot camp. He's essentially been given Marcus's old training regimen, rather.
Importantly, by his, I guess not
his second wife.
Yeah. I was trying to think of, I don't know what you call her in relation to, not really stepmother.
She is his dad's new wife, so I think stepmother is appropriate.
Yeah, but she wasn't. I guess so. But like, yeah,
Look, she is a stepmother. She's not a mom who stepped up. We know this. For Dylan, at least, her kids love her, at least for now. Spoilers abound.
Her kids are the worst, by the way. Just an important note to know.
You know what? That's fine. She's allowed to have bad kids. But yeah, so Dylan, he's back in the saddle. He's doing all of this superhero training, and importantly, he's back at school. So we get that great kind of social life that we really liked in Rogue Sun Volume 1 as well. We see that he's still being a dick to people. He's still like that bully caricature. But he's also trying to help his one friend, Byron, get a date to the homecoming dance, because he wants to ask his little kind of situationship to the dance as well. And that's definitely going to go very well for him.
It always does.
It always does. But while he's dealing with, wedding bells are ringing, our boy Suave is dealing with aviary bells. What's an aviary bell, you ask? It's a bell that summons the aviary, which is a mystical place full of secrets, and very importantly, an item called the quill, which is what they're after. they're quickly rebuffed by the Dorman guard of this place, and
Look
by
gratifying.
Radiance, by Rogue Sun himself, whose little emergency beacon goes off, and he goes to help out. So they need a new strat, and that new strat is not going to be very friendly. Importantly, in this altercation as well, Rogue Sun pushes a henchman. He's in a fight through a building, like through a hole in a building, to a great fall. And that sucks because we know this henchman. We saw him in his pajamas. So, I immediately felt for him. And this is one of the things that I think does a really good job of bridging the Massive Verse, because this reminded me a lot of when Radiant Red dropped a building on Nathan, where it's like, oh, there is a real sense of like mortal danger for people in this universe.
Oh,
like when they're suited up in their superhero suits, there's this kind of rubbery, exciting action happening. But when they're actually in their civilian clothes and shit, they feel like real people.
Yeah.
And a goon's just a goon. He cannot do well after being pushed through
the man out of
a hole in a building.
Rough.
He took the man out of the hench. But we see that there's tension at home for poor Dylan as he lives with his maybe we can call her his half mother, because he has his half siblings.
Yeah, but she's not the half. She's the half that isn't mother.
But I think it's effective shorthand personally. But importantly, he's not doing a whole lot with his siblings in this volume, which is a bummer because we were so delighted by especially his relationship with the younger brother in the first volume. But he's too busy for that right now. He's got a lot going on because the son of the henchman, who is now in a coma, is not too happy that his dad is in a coma, and when he wanders out into a parking lot, he promises to pay any price to a mysterious voice that reaches out to him. And we see this, I believe we saw this weird little dragonfly thing in the first volume as well.
He did. His mother ate it.
Yes, when his mother specifically ate the thing, not ate it in that she like fell over. No, she physically ate this
she ate the creepy little dragonfly.
Yes, yeah. I just feel it's important to point out.
No, it's very important to point out.
But he is offered power by this mysterious voice. It referred to itself as a god in the previous volume, and it offers this boy, who will now be known as Hellbent, a sword. Which is pretty fucking sick. We've talked about how there's awesome like medieval aesthetics going on in Rogue Sun, and this volume really leans into that.
I think we've said that like Rogue Sun has such a, like the Masterverse has a good aesthetic, but it's very like samey. And I think that's somewhat intentional because of the Power Rangers influence, where it's like, oh, they all kind of have this like, kind of look to them. But Rogue Sun just gets these like cool weapons, and everything gets to be a little bit more pointed instead of being like these more flat. So it's got a great aesthetic. Oh, so good.
It really does. And there's a lot of swords happening in this volume, which is super duper cool. Dylan can't find his sunstone the next morning. He busts up, these gooneries, and then the next day he can't find his stone. We understand pretty clearly that the half-siblings have taken it, by the way that the brother finds it in the couch cushions, but I don't know, bless his heart, that Dylan actually suspects that at this moment.
Man's a little dense.
He's a little dense, and give him a break, he's late for school, which he cares about very much, because today is the day that he's going to ask his situationship to Homecoming.
In the worst way. Humanly.
In the worst way. He has pressured his only friend, I was going to say best friend, but as we know, it's his only friend, into asking the prettiest girl in school to Homecoming, And mind blown, it works. Weirdly, because they mentioned she has a boyfriend in college, and I'm like,
yeah, the implication is like it works, but in the sense of she's going to the dance with him as like a, you know, kind of
yeah, as
that like
someone to go with because she has a boyfriend who's not
exactly.
there. Which at this point, I thought they were setting up, and I guess they technically still could be. I thought they were setting up that the son of the henchman, who we knew was in medical school, was going to be her boyfriend,
I
and
didn't
there was going to
I
be
didn't
a
even think to
connection
make
there.
that connection, but
Well,
they
because
don't
they
make it
hit
in the college.
hard.
Yeah.
They don't. But they hit hard. Like the opening thing of the actual meat of this volume is
Yes.
this kid being introduced with the singular personality trait of he is in college.
Yes.
And then they specifically bring up that she has a boyfriend in college, and I was like, oh, I see where this is going. Egg on my face. At least for now.
For now.
There is a volume 3 and a volume 4 at
And
this
volume
point,
5.
and a volume 5. Look at that. So plenty of room for that egg to come off my face. But the egg will remain on Dylan's face as he is set up essentially a yarn tangle. Like he's strung yarn up around a classroom leading into a room where he's sitting and waiting for his situationship to follow the yarn into there. Which one, incredibly lame. Like just incredibly lame in a general sense. But you know, he's a high schooler, so that's fine. 2, I thought it was incredibly funny that it was nothing to do with his powers. I was like, I know that nobody knows that he's Rogue Sun, but you'd think if he was doing a little like promposal situation, he'd find some way to make it like a little bit extra. I mean, this was obviously very extra, but anyway, she says no because she has a boyfriend now because he was gone for a while because his dad died and he was being a superhero. So rip Dylan. Dylan gets very few dubs during this volume.
The man can't win.
He can't. He gets kicked when he's down a whole lot. Case in point, his little half sister knows geometry better than he does. Which is rough. So Dylan is none too pleased. He's already having a bad day when his little token lights up, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta go save some people. Gotta go stop a bank from being robbed." But the bank robbery that he was being called for turns out was bait, because Hellbent had set it up because he needed an audience with Rogue Sun so that he could, one, intimidatingly tell Rogue Sun that he knows who he is. He addresses him as Dylan and threatens his family and friends. And he does so that he can give him a quest. Dylan is now being compelled to go to the aviary so that he can recover this quill for Hellbent.
It feels important to mention that he does all of this, threatens him, and makes this quest as he's kicking the ever-loving shit out of Dylan.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely kicking him. Our boy cannot get a dub this day. Like, by the end of the fight...
He pins him to a wall with his sword.
With a sword, which is so cool.
Brutal.
It's so brutal that at the end of the fight, Dylan's fire isn't even on. He's just in, like, flameless armor. And it's like, oh no.
On the floor.
Our poor guy. Oof. Yes. We throughout the volume get to see kind of, I guess you could call it like the villainous descent of Hellbent in his civilian life. Like he's stealing and he's threatening and all that. I found that was good in that I liked how kind of sinister he was. But unless they're bringing Hellbent back around as like maybe even a redeemable character, I don't know that this did a lot for me.
I don't know that this did anything for him as a redeemable character, because I actually think that I don't know that calling it a descent is really accurate. He's kind of just awful from the beginning. I think it's more showing how kind of irredeemable he is and just sinister. And I think that's meant to contrast more with like his father's picture of him as like, you know, somebody whose father was like trying to protect and like didn't want to be as bad as him. And it's like, oh no, he's He is far worse than you are.
Yeah, I guess I just didn't find it to be the most interesting use of space in the book because we dip back into it like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, I enjoyed
And
more the stuff with the Doctor than the stuff with him, like, basically drug dealing.
creating his drug dealing empire.
Yeah, like the drug dealing stuff didn't do a ton for me, but I did really like the interactions with the Doctor because I think it just like up the immediacy with which this man went just full fucking sinister.
Which is fair. I feel like in this, to kind of zoom out for just a second, we love a tangent. I feel like I was missing in this volume a lot of the heart that I feel like the first volume had. Like I think that Dylan is still incredibly well characterized, and I really like Caleb, who we'll get to in a minute. But I feel like Dylan didn't have a chance to like be a surprising good guy until one moment at the very end, which isn't even him getting to really do anything, but more so react to something.
That's fair. I think that's fair. Yeah. I don't know that every villain is obviously going to be as personal as like, you know,
of course, his literal mother.
Yeah. But
yeah. And that's, you know, very much true. But I think even like the interactions that he had because with his interactions with his dad in his head, we got a lot of like good kind of interpersonal relationship there. And he got to interact with his half siblings a bit more in the first volume.
That's
so I was kind of missing that.
We'll hit the like big full picture things after.
For sure. The intent of that was just saying I feel like these scenes with the Doctor and the drug dealing could have been used in another way that I would have liked better.
I like that's the fine. Ones.
That's fair.
I thought they were good villain moments.
Yeah, but poor Dylan has gotten the shit kicked out of him. He was pinned to a wall by a sword. Good thing there is a shroud that Rogue. I keep saying. I almost keep saying Radiant Sun. That Rogue Sun uses to heal. It's like this magical shroud that they put. I think it's a historical reference or like a mythological reference, but I was not familiar with it. Were you?
No, didn't.
It's the shroud. They have a specific name for it, which makes me think so.
It's like the Acalypus shroud.
Asclepius shroud or something. Which I'm not familiar with. But it does the job. It starts to heal up Dylan, but he's out of commission long enough for his half-siblings to steal the Sunstone and start to perform a magical ritual intended to bring their father's spirit back to it. But they fail. Kind of. They succeed in casting their spell, but when they summon forth Rogue Sun, they do not bring forth their father, but an older version of Rogue Sun. One who was alive in the medieval ages, which is great, because that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, what's it called? I think it's called the Sun Knight, I believe is what he called himself.
The Night Sun, I believe.
Night Sun, sorry.
Yeah. Which is super
rad.
Fucking rad. Because then we get a little, I guess technically a flashback, but it's more so a little like exposition scene with him back in like the 1300s as the Night Sun and like dealing with monsters and shit, and it's super fucking cool, and I liked that little like I don't know 3-4 page sequence so much. And he shows off his characterization immediately when he, you know, defeats this monster, but he's like, it's not my job to kill you. I'll let the person who you tortured decide if they want to kill you. And so like it is so cool because you get such a great vibe from it. You immediately get a great sense of like where he's from and more importantly when he is from. And you also get characterization with him. I think those are three
like in this moment I'm kind of realizing, not to spoil, but actually that moment at the end of his sequence comes back around to the end of the volume.
It does. Yes. The Night Sun, super, super cool. But naturally, this is not going over well with his family, because the children have... The wrong dude came back, and the children stole an incredibly potent magical artifact and cast a spell on it. So there's trouble
like I said,
in their home. They
especially the sister.
They're not doing any favors for themselves in this volume.
In this volume, she was like full supervillain in the first volume.
Okay, I feel like in the first volume though, Dylan was such a less sympathetic character that it's like, okay, I kind of get it. Like she brought forth the weird demon lady, but she also didn't let the demon lady kill anyone. So like, you know, she was making big money moves. And also, I'm inclined to be forgiving to, like, I don't know, a 15-year-old who just lost her dad who she loves and idolizes. But this one, that really in the last volume is where I felt that sympathy. I did not feel it for them in this one, really. Because there was, like, no build-up around it. It was, like, this little breadcrumb of, like, oh, clearly they stole the stone at some point. But, like, you don't see them going through anything to get this magic. They don't, like, earn the magic in any way on the page. And I'm like, okay. So they kind of just fucked with shit with no consequence. They fucked around and they found out. But speaking of fucking around and finding out, poor Dylan, he's like, I don't want to go to the homecoming dance anymore because my girlfriend's not my girlfriend anymore. And Byron, he fucks around. He stands up to Dylan. He's like, no, I'm going to homecoming with the prettiest girl in school. And I want to go, so I'm not going to hang out with you instead of going to homecoming, which is fair.
I feel like, though, that moment would be so much better for Byron if he wasn't essentially being used for this date.
Yeah.
Like, it's such the girl actually wants to go with me, unlike your girl who has a boyfriend. So does yours. She is using you.
Yeah. I did love his line. Dylan's like, you gotta play like hard to get. And Byron's just like, but I'm very easy to get.
That was good.
I feel like they did a lot of really fun humor in this volume. Like they did a good job with it. Which is great because it's a very high emotions volume.
It is.
Because again, literally nothing can go right. But following the lead on the quill, because, you know, Dylan knows that he needs to protect his friends and family, he goes to see Dottie, who knows how to get to the aviary, but she is not going to let him into the aviary because the quill is like a bridge between worlds and could let this great evil force walk between worlds. And of course, Dylan's like, but I'm not going to let him have it. And it's like, okay, but also, you're like a few months old superhero against like a I don't know, army of evil minions. I'm Team Dottie on this one. You can't just let him go and take that quill. But Caleb is I guess less reserved about such things. Caleb is like firmly Team Rogue Sun, which I think is neat. Like his priority is Rogue Sun. Which is really cool, and it comes back in a really great way.
And he's got such a like better. I feel like he's like obviously doesn't have the personal element, but he's such like a better mentor archetype than Dylan's father was. Like he's such just like good old school classic, you know, veteran superhero, you know, figure. Which
at
comes
one point
up very
he says
well
something
again.
like
Dylan.
Yeah.
And like
at some
Dylan,
point he has a line that's like, I dedicated my life to being Rogue Sun, and I dedicated my death to preparing the next Rogue Sun, which I thought was super metal and rad.
It's all rad, and it plays super well with Dylan's like, no, I just want to like do things and tell me. Whereas like his father was like, oh, I'm not gonna tell you. Like it's just fully okay. You want to know something about Rogue Sun? You want to know something you need to know to be a hero? Go for it. Let's do it.
I got you. Yes, they're becoming a bit of a dynamic duo. But at the same time, we have I guess the breakdown of a dynamic duo as Hellbent reveals to his father, who has come out of his coma, after Hellbent has threatened all the best doctors in the country to come and look at him. Hellbent reveals that he has, you know, gotten the hand touch, the favor, as they call it. And the dad's not pleased because,
no,
you know, he turned to a life of crime so that he could keep his son from having a life of crime. And then his son just went and had a life of crime. Like, what a wasted effort. Poor dad. You hate to see it.
You do.
The poor dad. But Dylan is things are finally on the upswing for him. You know, he's getting along with Caleb. He uses the little aviary bell to summon forth the door. It broken, but you know that's fine because he can just ding on the little broken part, and it summons forth our beautiful doormaster. He's like the doorman. He looks so fucking cool. He's got this like epic plague doctor aesthetic and like these sick, I don't know, magical auras around him, and he's all cloak and like it's so unnerving and unnatural. The character designs in Rogue Sun are just so kick-ass.
Yeah.
And while I don't have, you know, concrete proof of who, because there are a few different artists, I think that it's pretty safe to say that this was Abel's handiwork, though.
Yeah, I think that's fair. He does still most of the issues in this arc, and
yeah. Like, I think that the doorman shows up in issue 8, which would be one of the other artists, but I feel like it's safe to assume that Abel probably did the designs for these characters.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assumption.
And they look so sick.
They look very good.
We love. But Dylan makes his way into the aviary, at which point I'm going to give a little visual aid to show that once you enter the aviary, the book turns sideways. They said double splash page? Sure, but turn it 90 degrees? And I'm a little bit inclined...
I think that's inspired. I think it's called the Chaos Dimension in Marvel is where they do that.
There's also an issue of New 52 Batman where he's like hallucinating in the maze of the Court of Owls that does it. But in the Court of Owls,
think just they like literally it's done just when they're in that dimension and then not when they're in it.
Gotcha. So
it feels very pulled from that.
And I'm sure that that's great and fun. I didn't like it. Like I did not like reading digitally, my books like this.
I was so confused because I was like, these look like 2-page spreads, but they're not tall enough.
Like, what is
the
this
dimensions aren't right.
Yeah, and there are like normal pages within it as well, where like they're paneled out and stuff. And I did not love this form factor, but this reveal at the very end was very cool. Like it worked best in the like splash format. Because then it wasn't as annoying digitally. To have to read it. Works well digitally. I just felt it was something that I needed to bring up. But Dylan gets into the aviary and he has an audience with the Raven Queen, who is not just going to give him the quill, because it's a very important and potent magical item. And again, he's like 17.
Never be given their quill over.
Here's the thing. I support her. Dylan getting this quill, and I really like that I'm rooting against it, because the thing is, obviously I want Dylan to get the quill, because like narratively fun, but I really love for Dylan, he's so beyond the format of a traditional superhero. It's like, not only is he not like always a good guy,
I think one of his best moments in this arc, where he actually has he makes a good point for once, and he's actually like, well, either you give it to me and I do this, or they're gonna come and somebody else is gonna have to do it anyway, you know? Which I thought was a good moment for him, where he's like, let me actually protect you, because this is not going well either way. I was like,
I guess my thing is the fucking ego on him. He's been Rogue Sun for like less than a year.
You know, gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Gotta do what you gotta do. And he strikes a deal. He agrees to fight the doorman. If he wins, he gets to take the quill. If he loses, he has to give up the Sunstone, so that they can find a proper Rogue Sun. Which I think is a direct quote of the Raven Queen.
Yes, it is.
Because she's dealt with many a rogue son before, including Alexander the Great and I think Attila the Hun. There were a few big names in there. that, you know, are, I think, have big lore implications. Because, like, we know that Caleb, the Night Sun, was, by his estimation, one of the first to go by the moniker of Rogue Sun, and was certainly the first one to have his like soul bonded to the stone. But it's interesting to see that it extends back from there as well. Like, it extends back to Alexander the Great. It extends back in history. Like, this stone has been around and has been essentially making people into rogue sons for a very long time. Because I think that's a question that we had in the first volume.
That's true.
And I think this is a neat answer. I like that it has a long history with it. But I also like that they kind of nipped it in the bud by being like, yeah, but Avatar State started with Caleb. So we don't have to worry about all of that.
So we don't get into the little Avatar State where they keep changing how many there have been and how long it's been around, you know.
Exactly. But with this fight on the books, it's time for our boy Dylan to prove his mettle. And while he's doing that, Byron is trying to prove his mettle on the dance floor, but he's doing a very bad job. He's a bad dancer, but honestly, he seems to be kind of really killing it. Like, he seems to be pretty charming. Like, the girl that he's at the homecoming dance with is, like, hanging out with him, which I think is nice. We also see, I think, one of my favorite interactions in the book, which is Dylan's ex-girlfriend and her new boyfriend, and they have this sequence
when
they're going
jump
through.
Over Reggie rolling up?
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. Reggie is here. Reggie is the one
Reggie rolling up with somehow all the confidence in the world when we've never seen him with even the slightest sliver of confidence before.
Reggie put on a bow tie and was like, this is how I'm supposed to exist. And we all know a kid like that. And if you don't know a kid like that, I'm so sorry to tell you, you are a kid like that. But yeah, Reggie rolls up, starts absolutely killing it on the dance floor. And we hear the reason that Dylan's girlfriend or situationship kind of broke it off with him. And it's because Dylan is two different people. One is sweet, caring, and has been through a lot. And the other is an ass and only cares about himself. And you never know which Dylan you're going to get. Which I think is like such a valid critique of Dylan. And I'm like, I too would not want to date Dylan for that reason. But the real star of the show in this issue is the sick fight between Rogue Sun and the Doorman.
Awesome.
It is phenomenal. This is also the inception of Caleb giving another hint to Dylan that he can have a fucking sword as Rogue Sun. So he gets a sword of his own. And when asked where it came from, Caleb's answer is the same place the suit comes from, which, you know what? So fair. If Dylan didn't ask, I wouldn't have questioned it. We see that Dylan, through, I think, kind of sheer force of will, is able to withstand a lot of attacks from the Doorman. And then it's him kind of working together with Caleb. Caleb like runs a distraction for him, so that Dylan can get a final blow on the Doorman.
He appears in his epic suit. And the dude's like, you're not gonna like do anything. I know that you can't do anything in that form. And he's like, yeah, I just had to make you look at me.
But I can distract you. And you know what? So fair. I too was very distracted looking at him.
Because he's Dylan's able to use cool.
his black stun energy and blast him. But he's not the only one getting a little bit of a power upgrade, because Daddy Hench has a bone to pick with his sugar daddy Power Man, because he's like, hey, my son wasn't supposed to be involved with this. What the fuck are you doing giving him like evil superpowers? And he agrees to give even more of himself to this evil entity in exchange for his son getting out of his bargain.
In this book solve their problems? It's by eating the bug. It's always by eating the bug.
You gotta eat the bug. You gotta give away your soul and eat a bug, and that's that. But Dylan wins his fight, which is great, and the Raven Queen honors her word and gives him the quill. But time is ticking for Hellbent, who is told that he needs to, hurry the fuck up with his persuading of Rogue Sun, and Hellbent shows up at the homecoming dance. Which is not good because he has a sword and there are children there.
I love that splash. I love
We love Reggie. And I think the most tragic thing of all is that everyone was cheering for Reggie before this. He was truly killing it. Like, that kid's life was about to turn around socially. And then a fucking terrorist shows up.
I don't know if he's a terrorist. He's more of a just evil dude. Terrorists have to be political or religious.
I mean, he ate a bug for an outer god. I think that's religious.
Yeah, but his motivation isn't religious. He just wants to be a dick. He's not trying to, like...
His motivation is to spread terror. But
actually, his motivation is kind of just to kill Dylan, and, yeah.
That's so fair. That's so fair. But yeah, it's a Panic at the Disco. It's not good. He makes quick work of the gosh darn campus security guards. But the good news is Rogue Sun is on the way, quill in hand. He proffers the quill and immediately is like, okay, let's get all of the kids out of here. Like, get all of the civilians out. This is, like, not their fight. But our dear boy Hellbent is like, no, I'm keeping my little hostages, absolutely, until you give me the quill. And they kind of go back and forth on that for a minute before, let's see what the sound effect is, a good old kaboom, and Daddy Hench is on the scene. He blew a hole.
Did you look at that and just go, like I don't know why, to me it read so Justice Buster armor. Like, that was my
it sure does. Thought. It sure does. It's also very Hulkbuster.
Yeah.
It's
the blue like light up was what gave it more the Justice Buster to me than the
it's kind of that classic armored up silhouette, like Juggernaut kind of looks like that too.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, you have a bad guy you're fighting, but this is a bigger, stronger, badder guy.
Yeah. I will say, it's fine, it works. I do think it is weaker than most of the designs in Rogue Sun.
I think that's very fair. I also think that it's a little underwhelming for like the big entrance that it gets.
I agree.
Because he doesn't look like anything really special, but he doesn't look that great.
I think he's just like, oh, look, he's bigger and like wider, so he should be more threatening. But he doesn't look as cool as Hellbent. He doesn't look as scary as the doorkeeper, So like, it's just like,
Yeah. But this quickly becomes a fight on two fronts, because Dylan is fighting both Hellbent and Daddy Hench, whose name I don't remember, which is why he's been dubbed this. But they're kind of duking it out because, Daddy Hench wants to kill Rogue Sun so that his son's debt is paid, so that his bargain with the outer god is null and void. And obviously, our boy Hellbent is just crazy at this point, so he wants to kill Dylan anyway. And it's all going wild. Oh, and Hellbent and his dad also had a falling out when his dad didn't accept him as a villain, which is kind of hilarious. It's like, why don't you respect my career path? And the reason is because his dad is literally paying for him to go to medical school, and he's choosing to be a warlock. Well, his dad didn't know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's quite exciting. But Hellbent is no weakling, and of course Hench Daddy isn't either, as the bigger and better boy. So poor Rogue Sun is getting his ass beat. Poor guy. Again, he got his one win against the doorman. And it's like, no. You're getting your ass kicked everywhere else.
He gets his ass kicked a lot on this volume, which is like always nice to see for new heroes.
Oh yeah, especially as like a kind of escalation. We'll jump into that in just a sec. We're very close to the end.
Yeah.
But
I'll let you
Rogue Sun is pretty much out of the fight. He's on the ground, his sword is away as the villain approaches. But who grabs the sword and steps between Rogue Sun and Hellbent? Our boy Reggie, the king of the dance floor.
in nomination
the
for
kid
dumbest thing
who
a side character has ever done.
Here's the thing. I so respect it though. Like
the funny thing is, like, I respect it a lot more if the hero wasn't fully armored.
I mean, maybe, but the thing is that like it's clear that Rogue Sun is getting his ass kicked.
Oh,
like
yeah.
he is not winning, and he's also not reaching his sword. So like it was. While I think that he certainly could have tried to throw the sword, I'm actually a huge sucker for like a civilian standing in the way and like being a kind of, I don't know, superhero in their heart, even if they're not
Yeah.
a superhero in their body.
No, I just find it
But
deeply
speaking of
funny,
not being a
like
superhero in their
especially,
body,
it's not like, oh, we got in the way of like another, like, deeply funny that he thinks him standing in front of the like magical armored guy is going to be better defense than just like, magical armored dude's armor.
I mean, he's not like really confident about it. Uh he literally says, "Leave, please."
Yeah, that's only once pressed. He actually does. He has a good initial moment. He has his initial little stand where he's
he had
confident.
his adrenaline going.
Yeah.
But good old Reggie coming in to be the hero, hoists the sword above his head to strike at Hellbent and gets stabbed fucking through.
Yeah.
Like Reggie gets fucking kill shot in the middle of the auditorium.
Yeah.
Like
Once again, very dumb side character.
Here's the thing. I disagree. I think it was a really effective moment for me.
It was. Like, I like a lot of the fall. I think it's funny. I think it's a funny thing. Like, oh, dude.
I think they did a really good job with it. Like they have this really kind of fucked moment where Hellbent is like prompting Reggie. He's like, yeah, let's have at it. And then before Reggie can even like try to do anything, he's fucking dead. And I think that was better for me than all of the panels of Hellbent in his like civilian life and drug dealing life being intimidating. Like that was enough villainous energy.
That's fair.
That carried me through because I think it was such a well done moment for me. And it's also so good for Dylan, who
that's great.
Tormented Reggie. Like he bullied Reggie. He at the end of last volume he saved Reggie from some bullies, but he has been a bully to Reggie, and he has not, except at the very start of the volume you see him brush Reggie off, specifically being like, "We're not friends." So the fact that not even knowing who Rogue Sun was in the first volume, we had a bit going when we were talking about it about how there are no good people in this book. Like everyone is some form of like some form of bad person. Yeah. And I think that in this moment, Reggie really proved like.
Well, yeah. I mean, I do think Dylan's classmates are where you do find the good people in because
for sure, yeah.
What's his name? Not
Byron.
Byron. Byron's also I think a good person.
But I don't think he really gets to show off his good personness.
No.
Like they aren't trial by fire good people.
No.
They're just teens living their lives
like everybody else in this book.
Yeah. But we get to see a display of like actual heroism, and they're really, other than perhaps Caleb, are no true heroes, like pure of heart heroes in these books. And it's so good to see this happen because it's so emotionally devastating for Dylan. Because he's like, not only was I personally a dick to this guy, but also I am a dick, and like it's a known character flaw for me that I'm an asshole and I don't save people, or that I'm not nice to people rather. And it was so beautiful, and it also prompted Dylan to finally give up the Rogue Sun suit to Caleb. He kind of passed over control, and Caleb takes control. Caleb absolutely kicks ass. And also, anytime Caleb is Rogue Sunning, it's my favorite part of the book. Like, he got to summon all of these sick medieval weapons.
So cool.
He got some really nice, like, monologuing in there. I guess dialogue. He's talking to Dylan a little bit, but he's also just being a badass on his own. And so he takes him down, and he gives Dylan this moment because Dylan tells him to pin him to the wall with the sword.
I feel like the important bit before that is that he does decapitate Hench Daddy.
He does kill the dad. Hench Daddy is dead.
His decappa was hated.
His kappa was deed. No kappa. And no papa. Rip. So he is Hench Daddy is decapitated. Hellbent is pinned to the wall with a sword just as he did to Rogue Sun a few issues ago, which is super rad. And then that character beat from Caleb comes back around where he's like, Dylan, do you want me to kill this guy or not? Like the same thing he did for the woman in the woods, where it's like, you get to decide this. You were the one who was wronged by this person. Or like, you're the victim in this situation. And Dylan says, no, don't kill him. Like, we're going to take him to Dottie. We're going to put him in a crystal, and that'll be that. Also with a pretty fucking raw, he just watched his dad die. Let's let him suffer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel it's important to mention that it was not completely altruistic. This was not like, oh, no death penalty because, like, I think that's too far. That was like, death is getting off too easy. Man deserves to fucking suffer.
Which is fair. He did just stab Reggie. Like, he full ass killed Reggie. And, like, it's also super raw. You see Byron and the other kids come back in, and they're like, they called an ambulance, but we know it's going to be too late. And I'm like, that's so fucked. Like, it's a very raw thing. We
get a line from Dylan that, like, the reason he doesn't take back the suit immediately and he's, like, staying in his... He's in, like, an astral form when he's not in control of his own body, is he's hoping that he can see Reggie's spirit while he's in spirit form, which is, like, super raw. Oh, like looking for that opportunity to apologize, but you can't because he's dead.
Truly insane.
That is, I think, the best emotional moment of the book. Like where he's talking about hoping to see Reggie's. I was like, that got me so hard. That was so well
fucking good
done. Oh, amazing.
But yeah, he has to boogie because they need to get Hellbent out of there so they can get him imprisoned. And so that they can, swap back so Dylan can have his body back. They have a nice heart-to-heart, him and Caleb. Dylan makes mention of the fact that even though he's, like, not perfect, he's going to be better. He's, like, resolving to be better in the wake of Reggie's death. And he's ready to take the Sunstone back. At which point, Caleb says nope. Caleb's like, no, you're right. This world needs a better Rogue Sun. This world needs someone more qualified, someone who's a better person. And I am going to do that. And it's insane. Wild fucking ride. So fucking good.
It's awesome. What a moment there that just really hits you.
And that's essentially where we leave it at the end. Except for a little stinger where our boy Suave is confronted by the big bad. The big bad's like, hey, all of my fucking underlings are rebelling against me or not doing their fucking jobs. So it's fucking time for a revelation.
This one might, like, great moment, but this one might be on me, and it might be part of, like, the, why you keep figures like this in the dark for so long, because, like, you're like, what you imagine is always, like, better than...
Yeah.
I was slightly let down by the look of the super evil dude, because he's so humanoid. I thought he was gonna be like, I don't know, like...
That's what I was about to say.
Unimaginable demonic force.
He's not even a dragonfly.
Yeah, it's like humanoid. Why?
I think that he's incredibly rad looking, but I do agree with you that it's like, oh, that's someone very beatable, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's
And like again, I think
that
part of
person's
it, like I
made
think
of
if we
light
saw
and
him
metal, but
in volume 1 when like Dylan's mother went to him, I would have like been fine. It's the
Mhm.
like I think it's the build of it and all this like, oh, another dimension, like like in my head I was like, oh, this is like unimaginable evil. And now I
yeah.
have to imagine it because I can literally see it.
And it also might be something that I just don't remember from volume 1, but Suave is talking to this person and he like transports dimensions to the evil god dimension somehow. Like he's in his office and
Yeah.
then he has like a little but I thought that it was like I thought you needed the phoenix feather to do that.
I think he was like pulled in by the evil dude. So
Okay.
yeah.
It's just a little unclear mechanically to me because like it's important that the guy
It
can't get back
also,
through. Like
because
he needed
importantly,
the
he is like
quill.
grabbing his head before that. It could be a
It
vision.
could just be a
Like he might
vision.
not actually be
That's
there.
fair. That's fair. And that's why I think it might be something that I just didn't remember from the first volume. Because like I think we got deeper stuff on Suave and like his relationship to the evil god in that volume. And so we probably
Yeah.
saw
I'm trying
whatever
to
that
remember.
was
I remember
happen
like we
before.
got how Dylan's mother like went on the whole thing to go and like
Yeah.
beg for a way to kill Rogue Son and like all that. But I don't remember Suave's interactions as
Me
well.
either. But that's fine.
But in any case, not important.
But in any
Rogue Son
case,
Volume 2.
that's volume 2.
Yeah.
I wasn't as in love with it as I was with volume 1, but that was like an incredibly high bar.
I
And I
still
think
loved it.
in any that's fair. I think in any ongoing, a volume 2 is probably the hardest one to write because you both need to because in volume 1 you're obviously going to have like your best fucking shit, right? Like that's where
Yeah.
you've got like you're personally tied to your character thing. That's where you've got a lot of your kind of like introductory stuff. So you get the wow factor of like being introduced to a world. And I think that this one suffers in a way that I think a lot of volume 2s suffer, where it's like you both had to the stakes in the first volume feel like the highest stakes in the world.
Yeah.
Because they are the highest stakes in the world, right? Like it's the first bit of the world I'm exposed to. So writing a villain to follow up, uh-oh, your mom was the villain, is such a tall order.
Yeah.
I think that it was well done. I think that it's so hard to follow that first volume where like you get all of those familial ties, you get all the stuff with his dad. And I feel like I just kind of wanted something to fill that side of things as well. And like maybe that's what they were going for with the school side of things, but then maybe I would have wanted a little more on the school side, like especially with Reggie, like if they leaned into that relationship and if it wasn't just him kind of being because like him being an ass to everyone in his family, you can get away with a lot more because it's like, oh, you're stuck together because you're family and like you're bonded by this stone thing. But him just being an ass to his friends doesn't work as well. I think that they did a good job of making him
he wasn't
sympathetic.
as much of an ass this volume. Like he has his one moment after his like kind of girlfriend has rejected him where he like tries to get Byron to like blow off homecoming with him, where he ends up being a bit of an ass. But overall, he wasn't really that much of an ass to his schoolmates.
But he also wasn't like I didn't find any of their relationships to be super compelling.
That's fair. That's fair. I think where this
So
does really well, like, you were
really
never going to hit the
that.
emotions that you hit in volume 1. Like it's just not possible.
Of course.
To.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like unless you start getting really convoluted and pulling back the same things in a way that I think it would get really frustrating. So what I thought this volume did really well is one, it set up a villain that is over time going to, I think, end up having so much connection and will probably end up being Rogue Son's like essentially Joker reverse Flash Sinestro. Yeah. Because you set it up with like the you cost me my father. It's the I should have went Black Mana. It's the Black Mana playbook actually.
Yeah.
So I think that works really, really well to set that up. And then what I think this does is like, okay, you don't have the emotional stakes of the first arc, so we're just gonna have Dylan get his ass kicked constantly, so the physical stakes take a level that they weren't at in the first volume. Because the first volume, I don't think I was ever really worried about Dylan like dying or losing a fight, really. Or
sure, yeah.
like that. It was very much more like, oh, is he going to pick his mom or is he going to pick his dad? It's like, either way, he's not going to die. Like, neither one of them is going to kill him. Like, it's the worst thing that happens is that he loses the Sunstone, you know? Whereas this volume was like, oh no, he's just like getting his ass kicked again and again. And
I guess I would feel that more if it was more lasting. Like, the shroud immediately fixes the stab.
The shroud, yeah, is definitely a bit of a rougher thing, but you didn't know it was there when he first got stabbed, so you still kind of feel that.
For sure.
And then,
but then, like, he didn't have any like lasting problems from his fight with the doorman or anything, and I'm like, him getting his ass beat
barely, but he won.
I know, but of all of them, shouldn't that be the? I think that was part of my problem with the like constantly getting his ass beat, is that it didn't feel like he should have won against the doorman.
Well, he got him. He got the distraction. I actually really liked the way that
I know.
I thought that worked really well.
I like the way that they did it, but I'm saying within the larger context of the volume, where he's losing to Hellbent constantly, who just got his powers, and you know, I feel like he
there was a distraction. I feel like also importantly, the doorman wasn't trying to kill him, which feels an important thing. There.
I think he was.
I don't think so. They said if they beat him, they were going to take the Sunstone. I thought it was more of like a trial by combat thing where if he lost, he lost.
He specifically said that the one attack would have should have killed him.
I remember him saying that he resisted more. I don't remember him saying that it's not important. Anyway,
it's not super important. There were a lot of like physical losses for sure.
Yeah. Which I thought really helped up that side of the stakes. And I don't know. I get your thing on like the siblings not getting as much, but I do like their like constant conspiring because it just does leave that always there. I hope that the sister being sent away isn't like
a waving her away thing.
Yeah. Because like that would be kind of lame. I think it's good if it's a way to like let her go further into being an antagonist without it being like, oh well, why is she continuing to be allowed to live with them as she's like, because I did kind of have that problem as I was like, this feels like a bad, like she literally like went basically full supervillain last volume. Like this is not a tenable situation. Like the mother making her his tutor is a bad move and like all that. But I hope that the sibling stuff gets to progress in the future volumes that isn't like just over now. And assuming that's the other thing about this volume is like, obviously we're always reading his volumes, so we look at it as volumes. Like I think this volume is really good in the sense of like everything that it's building for the longer running series.
Yeah,
sure. Like I don't know that this volume is an open and shut volume as much as the first one is. I think this volume is a lot much more like, oh, here's all of these things that are kind of getting into place while still having some amount of a contained volume feel.
And I think that's kind of
obviously gonna come back around. It'd be very weird if
he better. He's so fucking cool. And I think that is just kind of the struggle of a volume 2 in general as well, where it's like, okay, now you don't have to worry that you're gonna get, only get 6 issues. Now you've got that runway and you get to start using it.
Yeah.
I think that it's very hard for a volume 2 to live up to a volume 1 in general. And I still liked it. I just feel like that some of the parts that I really, really liked in the first one were not as present.
Yeah, I don't think we hit like that final sequence with his mother or father, but that's like I said, I don't know that you're ever gonna. I think if you go back there, you're gonna have kind of
for sure. But I think even his relationship with the brother and sister, and the dad, but obviously he can't have a relationship with the dad right now. He was dissipated.
Yeah. And I love
really, really fun.
I think Caleb's awesome.
Really like the.
I love Caleb. Caleb is my new favorite
character.
Caleb is such a perfect addition. And importantly, at the letter at the end, we mentioned that Caleb is the which is wild because it means that it's going to be 2 crossovers straight where Dylan isn't the rogue son. But they mentioned at the end that the next crossover is like after this is the last Rogue Sun issue before
he's the next
crossover.
supermassive
So yeah,
one.
so he's the one in the supermassive crossover. So it's like Dylan does not get to be in these crossovers despite being the main character of the book, which is so funny.
Honestly, probably for the best.
Oh
my god. But yeah, it was a fun volume. I still really like the Rogue Sun universe. I still really like it as a part of the Massive Verse, especially because it offers that kind of fantasy side of it.
Yeah.
Super, super, super rad stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out again to Ryan Parrott, to Nick Cotton. Those are our writers. To Abel, to Zay Carlos, and to Mark Arena. The artists, to Natalia Marquis and Raul Aguilo, who are the colorists, and to Becca Carey on the letters. A great series overall. Super excited for us to eventually get to the next installment in it.
Yeah, I think we're ways away from the next Rogue Sun.
We are.
But I do believe
we've got to start clumping our Radiant Blacks.
Yeah, we'll see. Like this video, leave a comment if you want more Massiverse, because that's how we know what to go back to. Like we did, I think,
Absolutely.
basically come back to this because randomly our last Massiverse video started doing really, really well. We're like, let's jump back into the Massiverse. So, like, that's always a good way to get us to come back faster, is if you guys show support for the video.
Let us know that you like it. Yeah.
And we got a new volume 1 up next, I believe, is Radiant Pink is next in the Massiverse.
I've read Radiant Pink. It's cute. I don't think you'll like it. But that's okay. I think it's one of those things where I don't think you're the target audience for it.
That's right. That's how I felt reading the back of the Rogue Sun.
But make sure you hit subscribe to add us to your pull list. And as always,
we'll see you next week, Comic Geeks.